Hit Players.
That's Isaac. I'm Claire. That's James.
I'm James.
That is James. You feeling better?
I don't know if I'm really awake just yet.
To be fair, you did just wake up like 5 minutes ago.
Yeah.
So
You got to stop taking naps when you know I'm coming over.
I took a nap because I knew you were on your way.
yeah, I just do the old shotgun a quick energy drink
Yeah.
like an hour before you show up.
Exactly.
And I just feel it the rest of the day. I stay up all night.
That's what I do. I'm like, oh, it's about time for me to head out. Pop a can, some beer, chug that, feeling good for the rest.
No, I was like, I'm going to fall asleep. I'm going to fall asleep on this couch so that way I know I
That
can
way
wake
you
up
can
as soon as
hear-
you show up.
You can
Yeah.
hear.
Yeah, we can flashbang you with the
Yeah.
lights. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it worked.
Yeah. Welcome to the Hit Play Podcast, James.
Yeah. Welcome. I'm debating whether I'm going to leave all that in.
Yeah, keep it in. Keeping with the holiday spirit, we are doing a Christmas movie that is probably, for our generation at least, probably one of the most watched.
Mm-hmm.
I
Certainly
feel
one of
like
the most
we
memorable.
can get into that discussion. Probably the most memorable, probably the most easiest to digest and actually find because it feels like it's on like 5 different services and it's always playing on ABC or I guess now Freeform.
FX, one of them.
There is that is of course Polar Express. 20 years, in fact.
Yeah.
True Hit Play fashion. We are a month and 3 days as of
Mhm.
recording. 3 days late. But 20 years. This movie does. A lot of times when we do reviews, a lot of times when we do anniversaries, we're like, this movie could come out last year and it would feel pretty modern.
Yeah. Not this one.
Not this movie.
Not this one.
But
There's,
James, we have had many a discussion, you and I, about this movie. You love this movie. I think it's fair to say. You
Yes.
adore it.
Yeah.
What about it just makes you enjoy this movie?
Okay.
That's the correct answer.
No, there's not. Shut up. I was thinking about this.
Mm-hmm.
First off, I want to say this movie feels older than 20
Yeah.
years.
Yeah, right. I can't believe this movie can't drink yet. Because God, I want to drink after watching it.
We got some hot chocolate for you.
I don't know if it's just very thematic.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know
That's
if
why I
it's
said it.
just because of like there's only been 6 years of my life where this movie wasn't around. I feel like I've been watching it forever.
Yeah.
Plus, I've had the book when I was a kid too.
Yeah.
There's a book?
The picture book?
It's written by the same guy who wrote what do you remember what it's
No,
called?
I don't even know the author's name.
Okay,
I'll
I'm
be
gonna
honest
look it
with
up
you. I'll
because
look
it's
it up. You keep
another
talking.
movie. It's another kids movie with
You keep
Kristen
talking, I'll look
Stewart
it
in
up.
it. It starts with a Z.
Oh, the Zoolander.
No. Anyway, been watching this movie since I was a kid.
Mhm.
I've read the book since I was even younger than that. So I feel like this movie has just been with me forever.
Yeah.
So it doesn't even feel like it's 20 years. Did you find your answer?
Chris Van Allsburg, who also wrote Jumanji.
Jumanji.
Oh.
There was another one as well. I could have sworn.
Mm,
It's where the kids are in a house and the house is in space.
that's
Oh.
Zathura,
Yeah.
and that is a movie. I think just a movie.
I could have
Oh my
sworn
God.
it
I haven't
was.
thought about that movie in
I
ages.
could have. The reason I thought about it was because I could have sworn it was written by the same person.
Oh my God.
Oh yeah, it is.
Yeah, look at that.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Which is
Wow,
also
that guy
just
is not very.
not very creative,
No,
is he?
not really.
I like how I remembered that and not Jumanji.
Yeah.
Boy, they really were like, hey, people love Jumanji. We need you to like one up it. And you're like,
Speaking of-
space.
this is gonna trip you out. Speaking of Zathura, who was it directed by? The movie.
Not who?
John Favreau.
Really?
What a guy.
That's interesting.
A Chad. Just makes movies
Yeah.
for fun. I love John Favreau.
He's like
The
the reverse image of
Yeah.
Ridley Scott.
The more I learn about him, the more I love him.
Yeah.
Anyways, continue your.
Yeah, as you were saying, sorry.
So with Polar Express,
Yeah.
I think part of the reason why I love this movie, first off, the animation has never bothered me. Might be controversial to say.
Very controversial to say.
I was surprised when people realized, when I realized that people had issues with the animation. I had never, because obviously I didn't really know much about motion capture back then, other than like obvious times, like by the time Avatar came out in District 9, I knew about motion capture. But I didn't think about that with Polar Express.
Yeah.
It was fairly new at the time.
Yeah.
I think it was this and Lord of the Rings were like the two biggest movies doing it.
Yeah. So I didn't think anything about the animation. I don't even know if I realize anything was off about it for a while.
When you were a kid? Oh, I was
When
gonna
I was
say,
a kid, yeah.
last
Up
week.
into his teens, yeah.
Last week, James finally realized he watched the behind the scenes.
Man was watching it this morning. Was like, this just looks fine. I don't get it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I never had an issue with the animation, even after I knew it was motion capture,
Mhm.
personally. However, I feel like no other Christmas movie really embodies Christmas spirit better,
Yeah.
in my opinion.
Yeah.
And I think that is what has stuck with me about this movie the most. And also part of the reason why I'm less bothered about the other
Right.
crap.
I think for me, what's really cool about this Christmas movie is that it's an adventure.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's a kid just going somewhere and doing things. And when I was a kid, I was like, "Yo, I want to go down that gift chute too.
Yeah.
Like, I want to be stuck in a bag of presents. Like that'd be sick."
For being such a fantastical concept, it feels very grounded because there's such a like diversity of the children available.
Yeah.
That like as you're sitting there watching them go through, you're like, that could be me. I could be the little kid on the train having
The
fun.
one with the yellow
Yeah.
Yeah,
with the
like,
glasses.
I could be anybody, you know, like specifically the know-it-all.
Talking
But,
about
like,
what kind of trains, what kind of train they're on.
Yeah.
we all knew that kid. Some of us were that kid. But yeah, continue your statement. Sorry.
No, that for me that's what it is. It just feels like an adventure. It's not, Charlie Brown trying to figure out how to do the recital for.
Yeah.
Even though Charlie Brown Christmas, my favorite Charlie Brown. It's not stuff like that. Like
We're not throwing stones here.
It feels like a movie. Like it just feels and reels like a movie. There's some weird things in it that I think kind of make it different, which, I mean, for a Christmas movie is cool
Yeah.
in my opinion. Like,
The
feel
hobo.
free to be a little different.
Yeah.
I mean, I think he's literally Christmas spirit.
That's the
Yeah.
character.
Yeah. I never read the book, James.
That's a theory.
Nevertheless,
Film theory.
what I like about the film and the parts of it that I feel like embody a good Christmas spirit the most is, I mean, first off, the main character. Okay. One of the things I love about the character, and this is a bit of a flaw with it, but he acts in that way that you were talking about when we were talking about Die Hard, where it's that like, oh yeah, look at all this magical stuff happening in front of me.
Red one.
I just don't believe,
Yeah. It's like,
you know?
it's not real. What?
Yeah. It's like you just watched 4 versions of the same guy serve you hot chocolate and you
Yeah.
don't believe that
mean-
Santa could be real.
The second a train
Yes,
pulls
that's what I was gonna
into
say.
my street, my cul-de-sac,
Yeah.
I would have been like,
And nobody else heard it.
Yeah.
maybe magic is real. And then like even just going like a step further, hot chocolate scene.
Yeah.
They make tables out of nothing.
Banger.
They pull their they pull their
Yeah, we got
Penn
it.
and Teller who?
Oh, we got it.
I will say the thing that I feel like a lot of people don't mention with Polar Express is that those songs are like sleeper agents that like worm their way into your brain.
Oh, they're so good.
Because like
Bangers.
nobody can say the words hot chocolate around me without my brain being like,
Yeah, we got it. Oh, we got it.
when I'm making it by myself at home, I'm just like humming that because I can't not do it. My
It's so
brain
good.
refuses to allow me to
Yeah,
exist.
it's so. I mean, I think that's part of the indoctrination of us.
Yeah.
At least for me, like elementary school,
Mhm.
we were watching it every
Yeah.
Christmas
Yeah.
with hot chocolate in our pajamas, like the last day before we went in for break.
Mhm.
That was what we did. So it's like for me, that's just I think part of the charm. It's like
I
it's
see.
a tradition at
Yeah.
this point.
hmm
It's hot chocolate.
Yeah.
One of the things I love about this movie too, structurally, is that there are a lot of quiet moments. There's a lot of atmosphere
Yeah.
to this movie, or at least it takes the time to create a sense of atmosphere. Now, obviously, given that it's motion capture, there's a little bit to the movement of the actors,
Some of them are stiff.
but there are plenty of other scenes,
Yeah.
in my opinion. Like, I think there's 3 specific moments, in my opinion. The first is there's a sequence where he loses the gold ticket, and we follow the ticket as
Oh,
it
as
like
it goes through the
flies
train.
around,
Yeah.
right? And you see like all this like wintry nature, like
Yeah.
forests and like the eagles by the waterfall, like that kind of stuff you don't see in Christmas movies. And I
No,
think
yeah.
it's so cool that you
No
actually get
reason to
see-
have it.
Yeah, basically.
It was just there to pad screen time, but it felt so like
Yeah.
just gives you an
It
idea
actually
of how
feels
the world
grounded.
works.
Yeah.
Yeah. And similarly to that, the caribou themselves. That scene always stuck
That's
out
a
to me.
great scene. That's such a great scene.
Just this migrating herd
It's
across these
gonna
train
take
tracks.
hours to get them out of here.
What I appreciate about that scene is that it's so real because like animals on tracks is such a real occurrence.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Everybody has heard about it. But then they make it fantastical by the guy being like, "There's got to be at least like couple 100,000, maybe even 1,000,000." I'm like, "There's not even 1,000,000 caribou on this planet." Like,
Yeah.
Surprised.
like,
And then third would be the North Pole itself, which I think this
Yeah.
movie has my favorite depiction of the North
Yeah.
Pole.
Yeah.
The scenes where they're actually like running through the streets and it's just quiet and empty, and you just hear like the music playing in the background, like a record skipping.
Yeah.
Ring-a-ling, 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 ring-a-ling.
Yeah, I'm like, there's actually like a sense of like place
Yeah.
to it for an animated
Yeah.
movie, which I think is super
It's
cool.
it's a city that feels lived in, and
Yeah.
not just like Santa's workshop and a house for the elves.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's less so like in Red One where it was just a place for Christmas puns and
Yeah.
jokes, you know. But those are just three examples in my opinion. And then of course there's the actual like, believe message to the film itself, which it's a Christmas movie. That it's gonna have that anyway, But that's just me being a cynical adult.
Yeah. I mean, at least the nice thing is that like it has a believe message, but like each kid has their own like
Different
shoving
message.
it in your face message, which you can at least like
L-E, what the world does that mean?
you can take something away from that at least. But,
Yeah.
like,
Claire, you watched it this morning.
this morning, yeah.
Wait, for the
Uh,
first time?
No,
No, no,
Okay.
no, no,
I've
no,
seen
no,
it
no.
so many times.
Well, okay, fair enough.
So you are
It's like number 10 or something.
far and away the person who's seen it
Yeah.
most recent.
recently. Yeah.
I watched it last year with my mom. Anything jump out to you on the rewatch that maybe me and James have missed, having it been
I mean,
years?
the
seen
the,
it?
the thing that pops to me the most,
Excuse me.
because it had been a while since I had last seen it, and I had that James moment where I was like, "Wow, the animation really was this bad." But like in the same way that you're like, I don't really care, like it sucks, but like it doesn't detract from the movie. It was the same thing for me. I was like,
Yeah.
I was like, this movie is like,
And it's always specifically when a character is moving.
yeah,
Like anything below their chest, I'm like, this is terrible.
it's the fact that it happens especially in the hot chocolate scene because that's got the most acrobatics.
Yeah.
You can watch characters default to a T pose.
Yes.
It's very fast, but I like looked over it. I just watched them do like a T or like the H, and I'm just like,
There's
I'm
a
like,
lot
that's
of-
not great.
There's a lot of weird stuff
Yeah,
like that.
a lot of arms during heavy motion sequences would exist like separated from the shoulder, which was really fun to watch
Interesting.
because it helps make that more obvious in animation. So like instead of it being here, imagine like your shoulder joint is like a foot to the left, so you just have big armpits basically. So that I just was like, I'm just more aware of those things now. So I was watching all that and laughing. But I think the thing that stuck out to me the most that I never noticed the first few times watching it was what you're saying was those quiet moments. Because I remember like there was a lot of stuff where I was like, I don't remember this at all.
yeah.
And I'm like, because there's nothing happening. Like I remember the exciting bits, but like a lot of these like get to the exciting bits I don't remember, but they're really cool.
Mm-hmm.
There's like a part where they're like going up like a mountain in a twist, and it's right after
Yeah.
like they did some. I think that's after the.
That's after the
gorge.
lake,
Yeah.
the frozen lake.
And it's a really nice scene where he's like the conductor's, like explaining that sometimes you just have to have faith.
Yeah.
Basically, it's a really powerful thing to be saying in a Christmas movie. Shout out to my main man JC, but like, it's just I'm like this is a really cool scene, but I had no memory of it because it's just so muted compared to everything else that's happening.
Mm-hmm.
And then just also how often Hobo was around. I forgot that he was in like every other scene.
The
after he was
greatest
a
character in the
conductor.
movie.
The scene where they're walking through the compartment of the train with all the old toys in it,
Yeah.
Yeah.
like never made sense to me. I was like, why is this scene in the Christmas movie?
Very creepy.
Why is this actually scary?
Yeah.
Why does he get freaked out if he knows it's the hobo?
I think like it's just one of those things where he was scared at first, then he's like, "Oh, okay."
Yeah.
Oh yeah, but then
guy's a weirdo.
the hobo like chases him out. And he's like,
Yeah.
Hey, there are some things in this world that we will never understand. Understand.
Plus, also to
Understand.
be fair, the last time you saw the hobo, the man puffed into snow, so I'd be kind of
Yeah.
freaking out that he's alive.
greatest line in a kids movie. I'm looking for a girl. Aren't we all? Banger. Banger of a
every
line.
line that dude says is just so quotable. Because it's just such a like.
Banger of a line.
Again, you cut back to like, so it's 20 years, so like what, 2004 was when this movie came
Yes.
out? Yeah.
Correct.
Cut back to 2004. And you're like, are people still saying you're chasing a skirt? Is
No.
that a thing?
I don't. Yeah. I don't even. That's
I'm like, that feels derogatory.
perhaps
You know?
maybe a little
But
bit
it's just such a good.
Yeah, it was a different
such
time
a
back
good
then.
bit, Yeah.
different eras.
Yeah, it's also Tom Hanks.
It's also, yeah.
Speaking of which,
Tom Hanks is everyone.
yeah,
Name
he
one
does
character Tom Hanks
a
isn't.
he does a good job of just
Look-
carrying the load.
Yeah.
I don't know why. I don't know, for whatever reason Robert Zemeckis was like, "All right, yeah, you're everyone."
I think it's to like help sell kind of the underlying themes of like believing and like, is it a dream, is it not, kind of thing. Because if your voice is the voice of everything else around you,
Mm-hmm.
naturally you're gonna be like, well, this isn't real. You know, so it's kind of helping to give that our
Yeah.
main character boy some credence to like, this is all me just wigging out because it's just I'm talking to the same person.
Yeah.
And then also like I've heard theories that like the boy becomes the conductor and it's a closed time
Yeah.
loop or some shit. Like, but that's just a theory.
It's a stupid theory.
It makes sense though, because he's
Yeah.
the narration at the end of the
Yeah,
movie.
he's also the narration. He's like he's the only person the bell didn't stop ringing for.
Nevertheless.
I could see it. It's played by the same actor.
Yeah, I mean,
And then he becomes Santa.
I mean,
Fuck, I forgot he said.
yeah, he's
God damn it, Tom Hanks. No wonder you have so much money.
Yeah.
imagine how much money he got from this film alone.
Probably a decent amount. I mean, this is the tail end of the Tom Hanks era, but what a guy, right? Like,
Yeah, what a guy.
what is that at this point since the 80s? Just been in our lives. I say our lives like we were all a lot
Like we were in
born.
the 80s.
We were all here in the
in
80s.
in American movies lives.
Mhm.
He was it.
A national treasure.
Some would say.
Not those movies.
No, I know. Yes,
You enjoy Tom Hanks?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, he's in a lot of roles that that I enjoyed.
Yeah.
So I mean, like,
He's a very good, a safe actor.
yeah.
I can't think of a role where he was miscasted other than maybe Elvis, because that one was kind of weird because they had him doing German,
Yeah.
Polish, something like that. It was a weird Central European accent.
Yeah, I
where
forgot he was
like,
in that movie.
"This
in
is
the
a little
fat
weird."
suit. Yeah, that certainly was his decision.
You know, can't win them all.
Can't win them all, that's for sure. Now, do you guys think this movie would have a different reception and legacy if it wasn't motion capture?
Yes.
Yeah.
Do you think it would be more forgettable?
Uh huh. I think
Yeah.
I think part of the reason it has so much staying power, besides just the fact that it's a good film, because it is a good movie, was a lot of people were like, "Wow, this movie looks really janky and Uncanny Valley," as they got older. So like it
Yeah.
came up and they're like, "Oh yeah, Polar Express,"
Yeah.
and so it started talking in the cultural zeitgeist again, and it just kind of had like a resurgence, and now it's really stuck in everybody's memory.
Yeah. Now that we could have motion capture like Avatar 2,
Yeah.
where it's like seamless,
Yeah.
looking back on this stuff, and like other Robert Zemeckis, like his early stuff, like
Yeah.
Mars Needs Moms, where you're just like, this was
This is a choice.
This was a weird.
Yeah.
This is when
Yeah.
he started falling off the deep end.
you're
This
like,
was-
hey, somebody had to do it first,
Yeah.
and Polar Express was the one.
So yeah, so I think it definitely, if it looked better, I think it wouldn't nearly be as big in.
I mean,
Cultural-
we're in the time period of remakes and remasters.
I could see this movie being
I could,
remade in
yeah.
like
Would you wanna
5
see
years
somebody
with
redo it?
Netflix.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I almost wouldn't want them to unless they completely go in a different direction with it.
I think they would have to change the art style.
They'd
Yeah.
make it live action.
Yeah, something like that. Because, like,
Unfortunately, they
Unfortunately.
probably would.
you can't recreate that art style, and like I feel like you have to just completely start from scratch to get it to where I wouldn't be like,
2D stick figures.
it's not Polar
Yeah.
Express enough, you know?
It would be CGI, but it would be like Lion King levels of CGI.
Actually, that would kind of fit.
Yeah, quote unquote live action.
Yeah.
Yeah, where it's animated live action. I mean,
It's-
honestly, I think that would be a perfect continuation of the legacy
Yeah.
of just like why.
But Tom Hanks comes back just to play one character.
He's just Santa.
Yeah.
I was gonna say the hobo.
The hobo would be funny.
Yeah.
Actually, yeah, I think he does a better job doing the hobo than anybody else's voice.
Yeah.
So we all love Polar Express,
Yeah, I love Polar Express.
possibly for different reasons, but nevertheless.
Robert Zemeckis' best movie is blank.
I mean, of the ones that I can name off the top of my head,
Yeah, what else has he made?
I definitely
The
think
Back to the Futures. He's made Castaway. He's made Forrest Gump. He's
Castaway's
made
he made
Forrest
that
Gump's a
one
movie.
Joseph Gordon-Levitt one where he tightrope walks
He
across
made
2 buildings.
Pinocchio.
Which
He made
Pinocchio?
Flight. That movie is
Flight,
called The Walk, by the way.
The Walk. There you go.
He made Welcome to Marvin. He made Beowulf.
Oh, Beowulf was
made
another CGI one too. That was
Who
another
Framed
motion
Roger
capture one.
Rabbit.
Ooh, Who Framed is a good one. That might be my peak.
And those are all his big ones. Contact.
Harvest?
No.
No, Contact. Is that Jodie Foster? Isn't it?
Shout out to my Halo fans.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes. With McConaughey.
that one's based on a Carl Sagan book. Interestingly, which I wish I knew because I own it. I
Mine's
would've put it
Flight,
up.
which is a completely different.
Yeah,
Fair.
totally
Fair.
different ballpark.
Yeah.
100%.
I love Flight. Have you seen Flight?
No.
I think you would like it.
Probably.
It's got a good scene.
Denzel Washington.
I'm trying to think
It's
of
a good,
I'm
if
trying
you
to
like
think of things
Denzel
you guys-
Washington in Gladiator, you'll love him. And
I mean, you got me sold now.
or if you just like Denzel, I think it's my favorite Denzel role.
I would probably be. I would say something between the first Back to the Future or Polar Express.
Yeah, those are good ones.
Those are
personally.
good choices. Yeah.
Now, what's the best Back to the Future? Tune in next week on our Patreon.
The third. No.
Big fan of Back to the Future.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So while we're in the spirit and theme of animated holiday movies, do you guys have any other holiday movies you guys want to shout out? Any other animated movies? Is
Grandma got run over by a reindeer.
Hell yeah.
that a cartoon?
Yes. It is.
Gotta do some research.
You
real quick.
look this up. It is something that when you pitched this concept of like, let's just talk about kids movies, I was like, I gotta bring this up because it was on Cartoon Network every year. It sucks.
Oh yes,
It's
I remember this.
egregiously stupid and
I
bad.
remember this.
But again, like the Polar Express, it's one of those things that sticks in my brain, and somebody will say a sleeper word, and I'm just like,
Like MK Ultra.
Yeah.
You just wake up. You activate.
I just start breaking little like people's necks. Like,
So weird.
it's so dumb because just the premise itself is so stupid. Oh my
I'm reading the
god!
plot right now.
That being said, the older sister was hot.
Ayo.
I mean, look at her.
I'm
look
not
up
gonna
the
look at her.
Jesus.
Anything else?
I mean, Charlie Brown Christmas is
Yeah,
100%
goat.
up there. The Grinch.
The Grinch
Yeah.
is a good one.
How the Grinch Stole Christmas.
Which one? There's
I was
two
gonna
animated
say
movies.
there's 2 animated ones.
There's
Have
the
you
OG,
seen both?
and then there's the newer one with Benedict Cumberbatch.
I have not seen the newer one.
Neither have I. I tried watching it, wasn't into it.
I watched it just because it was on TV one year, and I mean, it's okay.
It's not as good as the Jim Carrey.
I don't think anything could ever top the Jim Carrey one.
I don't know how.
That was not animated.
I know that's we can't talk about it, but like
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I still say nothing can top it. Like,
It's pretty good.
yeah,
It's pretty good.
I prefer the original animated one.
that's fair.
What about A Christmas Carol with Jim Carrey?
That one was also animated as well,
Mhm,
wasn't
yeah.
it? That was kind of an interesting
I don't know that
3D
one. I
style.
don't know if I watched it.
It's okay. I've read that story so many times. That
Yeah.
I was like, this does
There's
nothing
only
for
so
me.
many times you can do it.
I will
There-
say the ghosts were pretty cool designs.
Yeah. I have my favorite version of A Christmas Carol, like as that story, is a Bill Murray movie called Scrooged.
Mm-hmm.
That one is my favorite interpretation of that story,
I see.
personally.
It just
Fair,
popped
fair.
up.
Yeah. But nevertheless, I also heard the Jim Carrey one. Anything that's animated, I just thought that would be like an interesting style to do
Yeah.
that in. You know,
I feel like we'd be remiss to not mention Nightmare Before Christmas as an animated.
I was gonna
Christmas
mention that
movie.
one.
Yeah. If
So
I
is it
did
a Christmas movie or Halloween movie?
It can be both. It has spirit of Halloween. It has spirit of Christmas.
Love
And
that
there's
argument.
snow. Before you get on me,
I wasn't going to say
Wasn't it
anything.
released in like May?
Yeah.
Yeah, but we determined that like the release date isn't.
You
advanced.
determine that.
You are definitely gaslighting.
It's called The Nightmare Before Christmas. All right. If it doesn't classify, then we have to really think about our qualifiers.
I have another obscure animated movie from TV.
Okay.
This one was called All of the Other Reindeer.
October 29th, by the way. Was when Nightmare Before Christmas came out.
Oh, so it counts.
So it's a,
Yeah,
it's
shut
a
up.
Halloween movie.
Kill both of you.
Sorry, missed it by 2 days.
Do you guys know in the song Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer,
Mhm.
they
No.
sing the lyric All of the Other Reindeer?
Yeah.
Yes.
So this is a movie about a dog named Olive.
I love that. Oh, yes.
Yeah.
I know. I
That's
I
a good
recall this movie. Yes.
I don't know if I've
I
ever seen
remember seeing a commercial for this movie.
Yeah. I think it was a major TV for Cartoon Network, I think. But it was about a dog named Olive who hears the song and is like, all of the other reindeer, I'm Olive, I'm
Yes.
a reindeer.
It's a book.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh my
I
god.
remember this.
Oh my god.
I remember this. Wow, that is a deep cut.
Whoa.
Yes.
I remember
yes.
nothing except
Always
that
stuck
dog.
with me. Because
Holy
I
crap.
What a deep
mishear.
cut.
Yeah.
I mishear and I misinterpret lyrics so
Yeah.
often.
Yeah.
It's very
Dude,
common.
in Jingle Bells, when they sing One Horse Open Sleigh,
That's.
I thought they were singing One Horse Soap and Sleigh. And I was like, what's a soap and
I think
sleigh?
that one's on you.
Yeah. And I was like, what the heck are they singing?
You had me at
Yeah,
all
that's
of
on
the
you.
other
And
end.
then when I see this movie and they're like, all of the other reindeer, and I'm like, I'm not crazy. A dog can do it too.
It's not just me.
Yeah.
Um,
That's funny.
that does remind me of another one that technically classifies because I believe it is stop motion animation, but the Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer movie.
Yeah.
That's
Mhm.
like
I mean, there's that
claymation or
whole
whatever.
family, right? Of
Yeah.
Rudolph,
Jack Frost,
There's Jack
Mhm.
Frost. There's another one.
Santa Claus
I
himself.
think so. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. yeah.
Just put
And then
one
there's,
foot in front
There's one
of
with the
the
snowman
other.
in there.
Frosty?
Oh, that's 2D. That one's 2D.
Oh.
There's one more. I feel like we're missing.
Don't remember. I
Because
remember, Rudolph.
there was the one where it was Santa. It was basically Elf, but like in the 70s, where it was he got separated, and then he had to come back, and he became Santa Claus.
And then he did acid.
Yeah.
Yes, those movies are trips,
Those movies are wild.
but they're so entertaining.
Yeah, I remember them. I remember the Rudolph one a lot because of
Because-
the
Not
elf.
that I can see.
Because
here.
of that, I remember that character turns into Santa Claus in a later movie. In that family of movies.
I have no idea, dude.
There's an extended universe.
There is. Well, I mean, they were.
Yes,
they were like one
they
of the
were all
first extended
I think they were all
universes, yeah.
connected to some
Yeah.
degree because I
Yeah.
remember seeing like characters pop up. It's like the Pixar universe.
Mhm.
You see like a character in the background, and you're like, oh, ho, ho, ho. You know, Leo,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Leo meme.
Not that I remember.
I got it. I'm looking.
You're gonna have to look that up, yeah.
Yeah.
I just remember from those films the various songs like Silver and Gold and
Yeah.
the
Classic.
You Can't Fire Me, I Quit, which I sung when I left
When you
General
actually did
Motors.
quit.
Yeah.
I searched stop motion Christmas movie, and The Corpse Bride popped up.
Nice.
Corpse Bride is a Christmas movie?
When did it come out?
I don't think so.
It might be in
Let's
contention.
No.
I don't know.
I'm
Let's
gonna
see.
look that up.
So there's Rudolph. There's Santa Claus is coming to town.
Mm-hmm.
Chris Kringle was his name, the character's name.
Well, yeah, because that's Santa Claus's name.
No, his name is Saint Nick.
Who names their kid Saint?
Kanye.
Fair enough.
Corpse Bride came out in the September 23rd,
so
it
it's
does
not in
qualify.
contention.
Not
It
a
is
Christmas
not
movie.
in contention.
Close
Google
enough.
AI is wrong.
Google AI, uninstall yourself.
I'm going on a whole trip.
I don't think you're gonna find it, my guy.
fever dream right
Yeah,
now.
I don't think that existed actually. I think you just
It did.
Do you guys have a favorite Christmas episode of an animated TV show? Do any
Look.
stick out?
It was this one.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
That guy. So he gets. I'm going on a whole lore. He gets.
Nobody can see.
So the first one he's in,
Mhm.
he gets. You can put it in here. He
That's
gets
a lot of work for me.
separated from the elves.
Yeah.
And then he comes back and becomes Santa.
Mm-hmm.
And then he is Santa in like 3 other movies. I think including Rudolph. I think he is that version. That character is Santa.
Good
You guys
for
never
him.
seen these movies?
No, I have. I
I
legitimately
haven't
have.
seen that one specifically. I just. I remember
they're trippy.
Rudolph. I remember the Yeti and
Yeah,
shit.
Rudolph with the guy in the blue cap,
Mm-hmm.
the Link, the wannabe Link. He
Yeah.
always looked like Link to me.
Yeah, he kind of does. Yeah.
Anyways, this is great podcasting.
That's what I was like. You're like.
That's why
Taking
you
out
want me
your
to-
phone.
No, don't.
For
thinking
Spotify
of-
listeners,
it's
Isaac
just-
pulled out his phone
Yeah,
and
it's
showed us a photo.
Do the CC closed captioning.
Yeah.
Closed caption brought to you
Brackets.
by-
Isaac pulled out his phone.
Do you have a favorite episode of
I'm trying to think.
Because SpongeBob has one.
Yeah, SpongeBob. The SpongeBob Christmas special is pretty good.
remember
That's another
specifically.
song that again somebody will say like a random phrase and my brain's just like this Christmas feels like the
Yeah.
and I'm just like get out of my head.
Yeah. That song is probably the worst Christmas song.
It's so bad. SpongeBob has like 4 or 5 Christmas specials to be fair.
Understandable. I think I had it on VHS.
Classic.
Or are there any like
Scooby-Doo
animated?
had a couple good Christmas ones.
Yeah, Scooby,
Yeah.
of course.
Yeah.
Scooby's there for every holiday.
Scooby's there for every holiday.
There's a Scooby Doo for every season.
Except ironically Halloween.
That's
Well.
just a normal episode.
Also, I think there is a Halloween episode, but
Yeah.
I just, I wanted to make the joke.
Is there like an animated movie that you guys associate with Christmas, even though it might not particularly be a Christmas movie?
Frozen.
I was thinking of
That's a good
Frozen
one.
earlier today
Yeah, that's a
too.
good one.
I
Yeah.
believe that is just because there's so much snow and crap, but like it does like my brain does associate it with Christmas movies.
Yeah.
I hate that movie.
It's
Really?
awful. Garbage. Terrible. Burn it.
I don't.
Mainly
Have you
because it
ever
was
seen it?
also a really bad world in Kingdom Hearts 3. But, like,
Well, yeah, I mean, Kingdom Hearts 3, you're just replaying
Yeah.
the movie, but in the worst way possible.
yeah.
I didn't think
Sora
the
sits
first.
in the sidelines.
I didn't think the first Frozen was that bad. I haven't seen Frozen two.
I
Okay.
personally did not like.
Let me ask you this: how many times have you seen the first Frozen?
I think twice.
Okay. Now imagine, if you will, that you have watched the first Frozen at least 10 to 15 times.
Okay.
Suddenly, the movie kind of sucks now.
You gotta like a movie a lot to have watched it 10 to 15 times.
Sir, I didn't have a choice.
For me personally, it was
Little sisters be like that.
there was so much hype for it coming from people my age. I think we were sophomores at this point.
Yeah.
And I was like, I went to watch it and I was like, this movie isn't even the best Disney animated
Yeah.
movie, let alone
It's not
like,
the best Christmas princess film.
This isn't even the best Disney movie to come
Yeah.
out this year. I think it was the same year Tangled came out. Actually, that's a
No,
lie.
it's definitely not
that
true.
is a total lie.
Tangled was out way before that.
Yeah, I know. That was a lie.
You mentioned sisters, and that unlocked a core memory in my head.
Oh,
Oh god.
There is
the Barbie Christmas special.
Barbie Nutcracker
I knew it.
movie.
Oh my
Yep,
god,
I know
yes.
it. I know it. Yeah, yeah.
We watched the shit out of that when we were kids.
Yes. Oh my
I think
god.
we had. I think me, and my sisters. I say me and my sisters. I think my
Yeah.
sisters had it on VHS.
There was also a Tom and Jerry Nutcracker one
Yes.
too
Yeah, yeah.
that I remember distinctly. But the Barbie one gets special
Oh.
mention in my opinion.
Dude, you just like reached into my psyche and yanked that out. Oh my god.
It was a deep, deep,
yeah.
deep
the
locked
deepest
away.
cut that
Yeah.
we've had yet.
That was a
That's
deep-
a deeper cut than Isaac's fucking Christmas, dude.
Yeah.
Santa
Yeah.
bullshit.
Yeah.
All of the other reindeer.
Oh my god.
You're welcome.
I'm gonna have to text my sisters later.
That's
like,
so
hey,
funny.
you remember this random ass film you watched like 3 times?
That's
Yeah.
so funny.
The movie was bad. Anyway, continue.
I have fond memories of it, but it's a Barbie movie.
Yeah, that's why it was bad.
Fair enough.
Understandable.
I was gonna say this is a bit of a stretch, but there is there's plenty of anime. There's actually a handful of animated movies from Japan that take place in Christmas,
Yeah,
like
there's a
Tokyo
few.
Godfathers, which is directed by Satoshi Kon, who is like a fantastic animation director. I actually associate 5 centimeters per second with winter time, with Christmas,
Oh.
even though it's like a horribly depressing movie.
I mean, that is the other side of Christmas that nobody
I
talks
mean,
about.
sometimes the holidays do get to you
Yeah.
like that.
The negative side of cuffing season,
When you don't get caught.
as I learned it's called. Yeah, when you don't get cuffed.
And you don't get cuffed.
Who else is spending Christmas alone this year? In a literal sense, I'm gonna be home alone. But like,
Hey, we're talking about animated movies, not live action. But no, I do associate that
Yeah, yeah,
movie
yeah.
with the winter time.
I'm gonna be home alone too.
Donald Trump.
I had to do it. I simply had to do it.
Yeah.
I simply had to do it.
That's just me though.
Cool. Yeah.
I
No, I
associate
get
that
that.
movie with Christmas.
I'm trying to think of
because the soundtrack has such like winter vibes to it. You can just listen to that piano,
Yeah.
and you're just like you just get cold listening to it. You know?
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of other anime that have like Christmassy vibes.
Death Note.
Toradora pops into mind.
Death Note.
Oh, Death Note. Yeah, the only one I can think of on top of my head is Toradora. which
Yeah.
I don't know if you've actually watched or not.
I know of it.
Yeah, it's got a Christmas is a pretty integral part of that script, but I don't necessarily associate it with Christmas. I associate it with Valentine's Day because that's when I watch it and cry.
We need to talk about that. It's a discussion for the.
Dude, okay. My least favorite trope in any holiday, in any Christmas movie, if it takes place any other time of the year, like if there's multiple, like if the story moves past Christmas, I hate it immediately. I don't care.
What do you mean?
It should
If
stop
a
on the
Christmas
25th.
movie like lasts for more than Christmas time.
Oh,
Yeah. Like
Yeah,
if
that's
they're
fair.
like, oh yeah, and then like here's us during Valentine's Day and then, other holidays. I'm like, no, this is a Christmas movie. You have at least a week that you can take place within and you can't go anywhere.
I'll give you a month if I'm feeling generous.
that
but, like,
reminded me of the weird 3D Jack Frost movie where it's like he has to save,
Oh yeah.
where he becomes Jack Frost. Like, he becomes the Avatar and he saves all the seasons.
Oh,
That
oh
was
my
that was a
god! What
Disney
is it,
one,
like
wasn't it?
Guardians or
Yeah.
some shit?
Yeah.
I think that's it. Yeah.
Oh my god, that's another deep cut movie
Yeah.
that nobody watched.
I remember that one.
Because I know the character Jack Frost,
Yeah.
but I like what I don't even assume that he's associated with anything.
Yeah,
You know?
because he was like that was where they made him like kind of like weirdly hot, right?
Yes.
Yeah, and like all like the
He wears the
middle
hoodie.
school girls were like super into him when it came
Yeah.
out.
Mhm.
Oh
Yeah,
my god! I mean,
yeah.
same, but like,
All right. That makes one of us.
yeah, and, like there was like Father Time, and he was like
Yep.
a fat dude.
There was Father Time. There was Santa. There
Yeah,
was
Santa was
the
there.
Easter Bunny.
Easter Bunny.
There was Mother Nature, I think, was one. There was another one too.
Man,
Do you guys remember the movie Nine?
yes, not really a Christmas
No.
film.
No,
but
it has
yes.
nothing to do with Christmas, but it just came
It
into my
popped
head.
in your head. Yeah.
I'm
Yeah,
gonna look this up.
One of my exes super into Nine.
it's a good movie.
It's a good movie.
It's a weird
It's
movie.
terrifying, but it's a good
Who's
movie.
in it?
I think Elijah Wood.
What do you what?
Shut up.
This is not a Christmas movie. What the
No,
hell?
it's not a Christmas movie.
Hey,
but
we're
it
just talking about
just-
animation and
it
stuff
just
that
popped
people
into my
talk about
head.
don't talk about anymore.
Yeah.
So it just popped
That's
into
so
James' head.
funny. That could be a whole podcast on our own. Like
If you've
just
never seen it.
animated movies. No,
I'm
I'm saying
just-
like animated movies that are deep cuts.
I'll say
Oh,
it doesn't
yeah.
even need to be animated, just movies that are deep cuts in general. Because I'm sure there's a lot of.
Number one, robots.
Yeah,
Oh God, I love robots. That's a good one. I don't feel like that's a deep of cut anymore because
it's meme.
You
Yeah,
think
it's
it's been
been
memed
memed, yeah.
back into
the
existence?
upgrades make
Yeah.
people watch it again.
Yeah.
Plus, I mean, people were memeing on the Fanny robot for a while.
We don't need to talk about that.
Yeah, a real deep cut anime movie like Bolt.
I mean, who the hell talks about Bolt, dude?
Just starred the great the
I was actually thinking
biggest,
about
Yeah,
Turbo's
Turbo.
pretty good. I like Turbo.
Turbo. I like deep cuts where you realize they're not that old. When you're like, oh, dude, here's the deep cut, and you're like, that came out like 3 years ago, and nobody talks about it anymore.
I have a question.
I have an answer.
You
might.
Answer.
So, what we love about the Polar Express, I think, is that there's an element of timelessness to its story.
Mhm.
It doesn't feel like it's specific to children.
Mhm.
Yeah.
A lot of other animated movies are
very
specific to children. Do you think that's also part of the reason why Polar Express just feels so much more elevated above everything else
Yeah.
in the genre?
I would
Most
agree with that.
definitely.
Because it's like the story that Polar Express tells is very adult. As a kid, you appreciate it because, like there's all this cool
It's
stuff
Santa.
happening. It's
Yeah,
Santa.
it's
There's a
animated.
train.
And like it's told in a way that you can still understand it. But like as an adult going back and watching it, I'm like, there was a lot of times where the theme popped up and I didn't notice it as a kid. And I was like, whoa, that's really cool.
Yeah.
And I mean, theme of like believe in Santa Claus is kind of lost in an adult, but like you still like end up
Wait,
you're like,
wait, you
Santa's
guys don't
not
believe in
real?
him?
yeah. I mean, of course he's
Hold
real.
up.
How else do the presents end up under the tree? Shit. Like,
How were you guys told Santa wasn't real? Do you remember? Sorry if that's too personal a question.
What do you mean told?
How did I find out?
He is real.
I forgot.
I
I found
disti-
out in a very specific way. I just don't remember. Oh, I remember what it was because I started to notice that. So we would travel for Christmas,
Right.
and then when we would come back, the gifts would be under the tree.
Mhm.
So I was around like 11 or 12. I started to notice right before we left, my parents would go back into the house because they forgot something.
No, and they put the presents
So
up.
I
Yeah,
picked it up
classic.
like 3 or 4 Christmases in a row, and then one Christmas I was like, all right. I think I was like I'm gonna look into their closet one day while they
Yeah.
were like they were doing something. They were out of
The classic snooping, yeah.
So I looked into the closet, and sure enough, I think I found them. Sorry, mom and dad, if you're listening to this. Santa,
They're like
I found
that
out-
little shit.
Santa's not real. But I think that's how I
Spoiler alert for
I
anybody
figured it
Yeah.
out. I think I was in like yeah. By the way, don't listen to this.
Spoiler alert.
Hopefully, no kids are in the car or anything. But yeah, I think I was probably like 12 or 13 when I finally was like, shit, everything's starting to make sense.
I think
The magic in the life.
Yeah.
I remember I just straight up asked my mom. I was like, "Is Santa real?" And I remember her answer. She said that Santa exists and a part of each of us as the part that wants to give gifts without receiving anything in return.
Wow, she watched a Hallmark movie like
And-
5 minutes before she gave that answer.
That
a great
answer was so burned into me that I
good
distinctly
one.
remember the next year I asked her again to see if she would say the same thing, and she said something different. And I was like, I prefer your original answer.
You're like, F.
That's a great answer.
Oh. So I don't think my parents and I have never stopped saying that Santa is real. It's just that like at some point
Sounds like your family.
I picked up on it and I'm like,
Yeah.
and it was just one of those things where like there was one year where I think like I made a comment. I was like, oh man, like I wonder if Santa's gonna come this year. I'm getting pretty old. Mom like looked at me deadpan and was like, he'll always come if you want him to come. And I was like, sold.
Free presents. Say
My
less.
kind of guy.
Yeah, I'm like, I'll be, into my mid 30s, be like, hell yeah, Santa, like let's go.
Yeah.
It's just part of the, it's part of the magic.
It's part of the bit.
Yeah, exactly.
That's
like
fine.
it doesn't matter if he's real or not. It's the spirit.
Did you guys
like
do ever
said.
do your families ever do a Elf on the Shelf?
No.
It might be different because y'all are younger than y'all are like the younger siblings. But I'm the older one.
What's an elf on the shelf? Like
Never
it's
has-
a toy.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I know that
So-
much.
go ahead.
But
All right. If you are listening with your kids, log off.
If you've been listening with your kids, and you're still listening with your kids, I
First
just
off,
want to
shame on
assault-
you because
yeah,
we have no filter.
Yeah, I've definitely
Uh,
dropped a couple f-bombs this episode alone.
I just burped.
So what it is, it's a toy, and you just put it in different spots in the house, and it's this thing where it's supposed to be like a mischievous entity. Of
That's it?
spirit Christmas.
It-
People get really creative with them though. Like I've seen some where like
Well, okay.
a parent will get their kids toothpaste and like write "Merry Christmas" on the mirror, and the elf will the kids will wake up and the elf has like the toothpaste in the bottle, or like the kids will walk into the thing and the elf has a bag of flour just open on the floor. Like there's really cool ones. My
It's-
mom just did like, oh, it's on the chimney. Oh, it's in the
Yeah.
tree. Oh, he's in your
The
Cupboard.
idea is that it's an elf from the North Pole sent
Yeah.
to watch you during that last
Yeah.
month to make sure you're not up to anything nefarious.
Oh.
So you do it moving around in the middle of the night while the kids are sleeping, so it seems like it's actually doing
Wow.
stuff.
They made Homa make your day just like school.
Yeah.
So Cinnamon Toast Crunch has that mascot of the actual like part of the cereal that goes crazy.
yeah.
We cut that out from the box, and then my sister and I would hide it around the house during Christmas time.
That's your elf in the shelf.
Interesting.
That was our elf on the shelf. And because I went back home for Thanksgiving, and I was like, oh, they moved stuff around my room. They cleaned it up. And so I went and I opened up the closet, and it's sitting right there.
She got you. That's so funny. That's awesome. Which sister was this?
My older sister.
That's so
Classic.
awesome.
That's a good bit. Shout out to
Shout out to Bridget. I know you're listening.
Yeah.
I hit it again.
You're our one watcher.
You'll have to find it when you come home.
That's
We
awesome.
would put it at the star on the Christmas tree.
That's a good bit.
Just
I
send
like
her
that.
a letter out in Korea,
Yeah. Mail it to her.
like the Flat Stanleys.
Speaking of Christmas traditions, one of the things that I forgot to mention last episode, with how much adding to the Die Hard as Christmas movie bit,
Oh God, here we go again.
my stepdad actually made a little light box of
Mm.
the scene where he's in the vent and he
Yeah.
like flicks on his that's the light is his little
Yeah,
thing.
that's a very
It's the light
popular
box.
Christmas
Yeah.
ornament.
And I thought about it on the drive home and I was like, supposed to bring that up.
Yeah,
What movies
it's
do
a
your-
funny moment.
What
It's a good
movies
bit,
do
yeah.
your guys' family watch together?
Hmm?
Like every year, my family watches Elf. Like we
Yeah.
don't even need to watch any
that
other Christmas
one,
movie.
the
We just watch
Grinch,
Elf
the
together.
Jim Carrey Grinch, and Charlie the Brown Christmas are probably the three.
My family didn't have any like we didn't watch anything because like me and my parents are very independent people.
Yeah.
So our Christmas tradition was when we set up the tree, we'd all come downstairs, and we'd play Christmas music. We had like this like now that's what I call Christmas special
Yeah,
with like tons of like spin off.
Now that's what I call Christmas. 35.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Including songs by.
Yeah, it was. We'd put that on, and we just decorate the tree together, and we drink hot cocoa and stuff. And then we had like Christmas Day traditions,
Yeah.
but like we never like sat down and like watch Christmas flicks. If stuff was on and like we were all together, we'd be like, tune into that, hang
Yeah.
out. But like it was
You guys
never.
think there's a movie? I'm gonna turn the TV on real quick while you're talking to see if
Oh my
anything's on.
God.
That's gonna
This
that's
is-
gonna ruin the audio.
That's why there's a mute button.
This is amazing.
Oh yeah, you can mute it. Yeah.
God invented the mute button for a reason,
My
brother.
brain forgot. Yeah. All right, place your bets on if Polar Express is on.
Dude, if Polar Express is on, we're turning this into a live reaction.
Yeah, just cut all this out while I'm setting it up. Oh,
I mean, I'm not gonna cut anything out. So James, anyway, you
Is
were
that
talking-
Emily Blunt?
no, that's all.
Why is the screen so garbage?
Don't worry about
it's-
that. It's the HDMI cable.
Oh, okay.
Anyway, what were you saying?
Cable box.
Oh, I was gonna
sucks.
say like we're gonna continue our conversation while he looks at TV.
Oh, while he looks through the TV
Yeah,
channels.
cut all this out.
No, I mean this is fine. Diners, drivers, Christmas.
This
Oh my God.
Christmas. Okay, don't know that one. This is a live reaction. on
Sugar
what's
plumbed.
Sonic the Hedgehog
Dragon
2.
Ball
Dragon
Z.
Ball Z.
Dragon Ball Z.
Mean Girls,
The
that's a
Office,
Christmas
is this
movie.
the Office Christmas special? It is
Yeah.
not.
Transformers is a Christmas
The
movie.
first 48. Wow, that's a.
London has
It
fallen.
was the night before Christmas. There's one.
There's one that looks
I was actually
animated.
2. You had a
The
Christmas.
Big
Hey,
Bang
Polar
Theory.
Express is on at
Wait,
7.
yeah, you're right. The Polar Express is on at 7.
What is that, AMC?
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
so funny.
Let's
All right,
go.
take a shot
Oh,
at
here we
playing
go.
that game.
I know what we're doing tonight.
Dr. Seuss's The Grinch is on FX.
Hmm
Nice.
Yellowstone is on 2 channels.
As it
'Cause-
should be.
God forbid Taylor Sheridan doesn't make any money. Jerry Maguire.
Prime time on demand.
This is really good podcasting.
Told you to cut all this out.
I think that's it.
I think I'm going to. I think it's funnier.
Mean Girls. Mean Girls has a Christmas scene, I think.
Yeah.
Oh.
Let's see if it cuts. If it were on that. Oh, no.
You know what? There's a Christmas movie that my parents and I always watched. Harry Potter.
All right. Where would you guys rank Polar Express?
Oh, it's S tier.
Yeah.
For sure. Even like now and like knowing the animation's garbage, like how old it is, etc., I still think it's an S tier. I finished watching it, I was like, damn, it's already over? Like that was a good film.
Yeah.
I'd give it an A.
Coward.
It's a little too uncanny valley for me, but
No,
It's
it's
still pretty-
completely
it's pretty
understandable.
solid. it's still solid regardless.
I feel like if I was being honest, I'd give it an NS.
Mhm.
I mean, it's a Christmas movie. I don't ever like during the year. I'm like,
Yeah.
man, I feel like watching Polar Express right now.
It's maybe to me that's probably why I give it an S, because I think if it's like July and somebody's like, I just want to watch the Polar Express, I'm not gonna be like, you're a freak. I'm just gonna be like, all right.
You're like, yeah, it's a good movie. I don't
Yeah.
blame you.
Fair enough. Like I could use some Christmas spirit
that
myself.
makes yeah, we have completely different mindsets. I'm like, you need to get help.
Yeah, release date matters.
Seek professional help, please.
When did the Polar Express go? Oh, November. We just talked
November.
about that, yeah.
Yeah.
November 4th.
Anyway.
Anyway, best Christmas movie, Arthur Christmas. Anyway,
All right, guys. Follow us on Instagram.
you can leave it
Best
there.
Christmas movie, Sir Arthur and Gawain. I don't know. I'm just saying.
Knights of the Round Table.
Yeah, sure.
Robin Hood, Men in Tights.
Does that have Christmas in it?
No.
Fair
Good.
enough. Still a good film though.
Monty Python and the Holy Grail.
That has Christmas in it. Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade or something. I don't know.
Is there a Christmas scene in
I
that?
think there is one of
Oh,
them. There's,
there you
there's
go.
I believe there's Christmas mentioned in one of them. I just don't know which one.
There you go.
All right. Well, that concludes our podcast on animated Christmas movies.
Yep.
Just in time for the holiday season. So
Watch
y-
this over.
you and yours have a great
over a fire.
holiday season, whatever holiday you celebrate around this time of year. We just finished Alien, so give
yeah.
us a big
Go
round
watch
of
that.
applause. That took us 4 months,
Mhm.
so that is our Christmas present to you.
It's Christmas present to ourselves.
Is us finishing the worst game ever made. Just kidding, it's the best game ever made.
Mhm.
Next week, end of the year.
Yeah.
We're
Yeah, we
already
talk about
done.
Hanukkah movies.
We get to talk. Yeah.
Dude, I love Yom Kippur.
Yeah, I love what's the one comedy?
Great.
The Last Night, I think, is the one where it's like Joseph Gordon-Levitt, Seth Rogen, and Anthony Mackie.
Oh, yeah.
Dude, that Adam Sandler song.
Anyways,
You don't know Adam Sandler's song?
yeah, next
Anyway.
week is our end of the year. We're gonna talk about everything
Yep.
that we loved in
Do a quick
2024:
wrap-up.
movies, books,
games.
TV, games. Try to keep it under an hour and a half, but
We won't.
spoiler alert:
Probably-
Alien Isolation is number 1 for each of us.
In terms of games,
No, incorrect.
spoiler, that's not correct.
Spoiler alert, I don't even think it makes my top 5 of the year.
Spoiler alert: you're at the podcast.
Finally.
So yeah, tune in for that. That'll be fun. And then,
Follow us on Instagram, hitplay.pod.
oh, before we go, I'm gonna talk about Formula One for like 2 seconds.
Oh, yeah. How you feel at the end of the season?
Kind of a good season.
Yeah?
Yeah, very, very.
Where would you rank it?
I mean, 2021 is the best.
Yeah.
Yeah, 2021 it was must see TV. I literally would wake up at 4 a.m. to watch.
Yeah.
because I was like, I
in the
have
morning.
like this is peak.
I don't. I appreciate that Verstappen won so much at the beginning of the year that
Yeah.
he didn't have to win a race. The second
Give
half.
everybody else a shot.
Yeah. I was telling my dad this. If that was reversed, this would be considered one of the best seasons, like the most competitive. 7 different winners in 7 different races is insane for Formula One.
Yeah.
This would be considered the most competitive season if it
This
wasn't for the
never
fact
happened.
that Verstappen dominated,
Swept.
at the beginning of this year. So, I mean, that kind of spoiled some of the fun, in my opinion. It was nice to see Lando get his time in the spotlight as like a title contender.
We know that's not true.
As we
but-
know, nobody believed it. It was just media talk.
Rebecca.
He was nowhere near. He was never going to win.
He's soft. Charmin, ultra soft.
We also got to see plenty of George Russell act like
Yeah.
himself.
Yeah. He became a Mercedes driver.
He became a Mercedes driver.
I loved it.
Yeah.
I loved it so much. I love when they tattletale on each other and they throw big hissy fits.
Yeah.
I'm like, dude, you guys get paid millions of dollars to drive cars.
Yeah.
Why are y'all the way you are? But I love it. That's why I watch.
That's what happens when you make $1 million.
How do you feel about the Formula One season, Claire? You watched 2 laps of a race?
No, I think it was like 3.
enough.
Before I was tired and went.
Well, it was Vegas, right?
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. My only takeaway is that he's a father.
Yeah. In many ways,
Yeah.
both literally and figuratively.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, it's Formula One. I don't watch it.
Where
What
would you rank it?
How would you rank? Well, there's one for you.
Okay.
Rank the drivers in terms of attractiveness.
I actually don't know what any of them look like except Max
Okay.
Verstappen.
Where would you rank him?
He's like a C tier, to be real. I think
People
the
say he
only-
looks like Sid the Sloth from
Yeah.
Ice Age.
He's-
I would say the only reason I think people find him attractive is because he makes a shit ton of money.
Yes.
And I'm going to say that quiet part out loud.
I think you just explained every celebrity
I don't
crush.
think that's quiet. I think that's just
Well, I mean,
facts.
I'm saying this directly to Rebecca. The only reason you like half of those
Okay,
men.
well, let's. I'm
Um,
gonna say some words off the podcast.
Like, I'm not saying she's a gold digger.
But I mean, I watched 2 races because I watched.
Japan?
I don't remember what race it was, but I was
What time of
forced to
day?
watch-
Hold on. What time
Yeah,
of day
what time
was
of
it?
day was it?
I watched it in like early morning,
How early?
like 6 or 7 a.m.
Oh, that's probably a Middle Eastern
Yeah.
Yeah.
race.
It was when we went to, or when some of the group went to Marble Falls.
Oh,
Rebecca-
that
Rebecca
was,
made us watch that because I was the only one
yes,
awake.
yes. I remember that race because I think she was texting me at the same
Yeah.
time, and I was like, "Dude, I don't talk to me."
And I was like, I was
like,
barely
form
awake. Yeah.
Form coherent sentences before you send me messages.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I will put you on mute. And I think I did put her on mute for a little bit.
That tracks. So I mean, it's. I'm be real. I think that Formula One is too clean for me to appreciate.
Yeah,
Because
I feel
I'm
that
just
way
like,
sometimes.
if somebody gets ahead and they're ahead for a little bit, I'm just like, I don't care. There's no
There
accidents to
are
keep me excited.
A
Like,
lot of races where it's literally just like, all right, first 3 laps, that's it, that's the race.
yeah, that's
Just a
I'm
parade.
like the one in Marble Falls. I remember there was literally 1 point of excitement, and like I think it was Lando or somebody came up to Max within like a 1 second difference,
yeah.
and Rebecca and Daniel were freaking out about it, and then it gap opened again. I
Was
was
it
like,
like Austria? France?
Probably.
I was just
I
like,
mean,
wow.
if he won, it was probably one of the earlier races.
Yeah.
it's like this was a waste of my time.
Spain, maybe.
Yeah. It happens.
Yeah, I mean it is what it is. I mean,
But when
you
it
guys like it, you guys
slaps-
like it.
It slaps.
You just have to be awake for it.
Yeah, yeah, and
The
that's
problem
also
is you have to set an hour and a half of your mornings, which I
Yeah.
actually enjoy about Formula One. Is like I can wake up, watch it, go
Yeah.
back to sleep.
Mhm.
It's not like football where I'm like, fuck, I gotta be up till 11 at night.
Yeah. where you got to start watching at midnight.
yeah.
Yeah. All right.
Cool. Well, that was that.
Thanks for joining us.
Um,
See you guys next week.
Bye.